Okay, this part of the roof down here is going to be complicated. I've worked through several variations and haven't liked any of them that I've come up with so far, but I'm on to I'm on to the hunt. To start with, develop the roof just like you did with any of the others over here, using the correct offsets. That's not a right offset. It should be 8 inches from there. Okay. No, 1, 5, 8. Okay, I'll check that. Anyway, develop the roof with your correct overhangs, especially on this brick wall and this brick wall. These lines will be along the core of the building, um, along the exterior core of the wall. And here, just do something down here. Right now, doesn't matter. Okay, what you're doing there, because we're going to work our way down that way. Okay, what you're trying to do is to build the roof correctly over this end of the building down here, and that's going to establish our overhangs and our heights. Okay, all right, and then excuse me, pop you a section view in through one of these windows, and just like you did on the other two roofs down there, come up with your heights to to check it here, to check your heights. Okay, and it should, because of the change in the, oh, I'm sorry, when you um no, you're not gonna have to worry about aligning eaves on this roof, because both of they got the same roof slope on both sides here, so you don't have to worry about doing the eave alignment thing. Build the roof with the correct slope and the correct overhangs, and then pop you a section view in here to see what your offset from the base level needs to be, and then you'll raise your roof up to get that correct height above the window, just like we've done on the other three roofs down there. Okay, then you can come over here to this north view, because when you do that, this will not be one plane across here. At the edge of this line here, you'll have an offset, just like you see over here. I've already corrected it. But what you can do is you'll need to go back in, and it's easier to do it in a section view. Um, let's see. I'll look at it in this view. If this were a section view, what you would want to do is measure the distance from the top of this roof straight up to the top of that roof, over at the wall. Anywhere is convenient, because it's going to be parallel. But you would measure the distance between the tops of the roofs, then come back in and edit your footprint and select that line there and give it the offset from roof base. Now, this is in addition to what your regular roof is offset. That's why you have to measure the distance. Now, yours may not be 3 3/4. It might be, it might not be. Okay, and then when you apply that, then you'll get one plane across here. Okay, this end down here is a little bit different, because if you look at your prints real closely, the peak of the roof at the front of the house and the peak of the roof at the rear of the house do not line up. Okay, because we've got the same exterior wall here, but we're dropping down to a different wall here in the front, and so we'll get to that as we're working our way through this thing. Okay, so go ahead and build this part of the roof out, and then I'll come back with the next part of the video. Okay. In dealing with this front edge of the roof here, I think when I created, I chose the core of that wall when I was doing it. But what I want you to do here is back over on the scene plan, and what I've put in some reference planes here. So if you go to your architecture tab, and a lot of times over this will come up, so you can go reference plane, and then you can draw it in, and you can dimension it and lock it in place. And so I've put one in, aligned it with the peak of the main roof. I've got one that's aligned with the peak of this part of the roof, and this one it's aligned with the peak of the roof there. But when you go to put this one in, I want you to do it in the south elevation, and this would be it right here. And I want it to be center of this window, okay? Because that's where the center of this peak at the end of the roof needs to be. So you put that reference plane in, and then check your roof. If your roof doesn't go right through that peak, then you need to adjust this line of your roof over here, either in or out, to get your roof to peak at the center of that window, because that's going to determine, that's going to keep everything centered up, and we'll work from there. Okay, and then we're going to we'll have to adjust this line, moving it back so that this thing continues straight back. But we'll get to that in the next video. Okay, once you've got this gable end of your roof fixed and centered over here, over this window, now come back in and edit your footprint one more time, because now you're going to have, like, another step, maybe like 3 steps in the roof or whatever. So we're going to go and edit the footprint, and this line against the building here, I use the split tool, and I split it. And then what I did is I took this line and adjusted it. It's not the same elevation as this line, but I had to measure it and adjusted it so that this front plane of my roof is the same elevation, because here the roof is coming down against the wall. Here it's stopping short of the wall. Okay, and the length of that back doesn't really matter, because we're fixing to move into extending this on up. So we'll adjust this once we figure out where this is coming up at. But you just have to, go into your south elevation here and measure the heights to get that plane to be smooth going back.